Alright, so we're going to do some more application problems today. They're a little bit different for the most part. Some will be like the same as yesterday. But our first couple are different. So our first one, it says, one number is the square of the other. Their sum is 42. Find the two numbers. Anyone have a clue how to set this up? Well, let's break it down. One number is the square of the other. Violet, what do you think that means? Yeah, so like if we pick a variable, we pick x. Let's say we pick x. That's our first variable. We know one number is the square of the other. So x is my other, so the square of x would be x squared. So my first number is x. My second number is x squared. Thus, their sum is 42. So sum means addition. X squared plus x equals 42. Find the two numbers. Well, to find the two numbers, we should probably solve for x. What do you say, Liam? Say it a little louder. Make it equal to 0. Right? I have an x squared and an x term, which means I know I'm either going to factor or use quadratic formula. So, get it equal to 0. Subtract 42. X squared plus x minus 42 equals 0. Well, like I said, we can either factor from here, or we can use quadratic formula. Let's factor, right? Factor's going to be easier, it's going to be quicker. If you want to use quadratic formula, if that's what you're comfortable with, you'll get the same exact answer. Use it. But I'm going to factor. So, it multiplies to negative 42, adds to 1. What are my two numbers? Negative 6 and 7. So x minus 6, x plus 7. Alright. Well, how do I solve for x now? What, Anna?
Split it up.
Split it up. Take each piece, set it equal to 0. Right? The zero product property. X minus 6 equals 0. Add 6. X equals 6. X plus 7 equals 0. Minus 7. X equals negative 7. Now, is that what the question was asking? No, that's what the two numbers were.
Yeah. It's 6 and 36.
So it would be 6 and 36, right? Because x squared would equal 36. So 6 and 36 would be one answer. My other answer would be negative 7 and 49. So there's two separate answers I could have. Make sure you're answering their question. Do not just box 6 and negative 7. That's wrong. Make sure you're answering the question. It's like 6 is one number, 36 is the other. Negative 7 is one number, 49 is the other. Right, does that make sense? Well, one problem done. That's a heavy sigh. You good? Okay. Disappointing? This room should be filled with excitement right now. You just finished the problem. Thanks, Coogie. Alright. The area of a rectangle is 84 square inches. The length is 5 more than the width. Find the length and the width. I think there's actually a square drawn on yours, right? Or a rectangle, I should say. Okay, well, let's think about it. The area is 84 square inches. So the area is 84 square inches. The length is 5 more than the width. What? So my length is x plus 5. Okay. I'll let this side be my length. X plus 5. Which means my width is what? X. So I have side lengths of x and x plus 5. Do you understand where those come from? If you want to use w and w plus 5, that's fine as well. Right? Doesn't matter which variable you use. So now I want to find the length and the width. So I want to solve for x and x plus 5. I think I'm going to be able to solve for x. Now what's that one piece of information we haven't used yet? 84. Right? The area equals 84. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the area. Well, I know the area, but I need to use the formula. What's the formula? What's the area of a rectangle formula, Q? Thank you, Quentin. Quentin. Length times width.
Yeah.
So, my width is x times my length, x plus 5, equals 84. Okay. Now what do? I got it set up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute my x into here. X squared plus 5x equals 84. Well, notice I now have an x squared and an x. How can I solve for x? I can use either quadratic formula or I can factor. Either way, it needs to be equal to 0 before I do that. Thanks. So, I need it equal to 0, so subtract 84. X squared plus 5x minus 84 equals 0. Do we want to factor or do we want to use quadratic formula? You want to do quadratic? Alright, we can. Alright, so A equals 1, B equals 5, C equals negative 84. Negative B, plus or minus the square root, B squared minus 4AC, all over 2A. Okay? You gotta know that. Negative boy couldn't decide if you want to go to radical party. Being squared, he decided not to go. Missed out on 4 awesome chicks. Party wasn't over until 2 a.m. How do you remember it? Remember it. Negative b, or negative 5, plus or minus the square root. 25 minus, what did I get underneath that radical there? I didn't work that out. What's 5 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 84? No one worked that out in their calculator? Because I know we all have our calculators out and we're doing it.
361.
What?
361.
361?
Yeah.
Alright.
That's 19.
Thank you. Over 2. Square root of 361, Mason says, is 19. So, negative 5 plus or minus 19 over 2. So, split it up and solve it. Negative 5 plus 19 over 2. Negative 5 minus 19 over 2. Well, negative 5 plus 19 will be 14. Divided by 2 is 7. Negative 5 minus 19. Negative 24 divided by 2. Negative 12. If you factor, did you get the same answers? Sweet. Alright. What am I looking for? It's a question asking. Length and width. Can I have a negative length or width? No. So I know negative 12 is not going to be my answer. So I know x equals 7, which means my width equals 7.
And length equals 12.
Length equals 12. 7 plus 5 will give me 12. Okay?
That was bad.
That wasn't that bad. Any questions on those? Got a few more problems to do. Alright. Amateur Rocketry Club. Bowling competition. We should have a rocketry club. It would be pretty cool. There's cloud cover at 1,000 feet. If a rocket is launched with a velocity of 315 feet per second using the function h of t equals negative 16t squared plus initial velocity times t plus initial height to determine how long the rocket is out of sight. So if I start on the ground, this is my rocket. Little flames. Okay? That's my rocket, right? There's cloud cover. Up here. We want to know if I shoot my rocket, how long it won't be visible. So if this is 1,000 feet, I need to find this point, how long to get to there, and how long to get to there, right? So I'm not looking for my maximum height. I'm not looking for how long it takes to get to my maximum height. But I'm looking for when will my height equal 1,000? How long does it take to get my height to equal 1,000? Right? So how could I solve that then? Right? What? Make it equal to 1,000. Remember when we did those problems where the height equaled 0? We equaled it to 0. So if we want the height to equal 1,000, I'm going to take my equation here and make it equal 1,000. So 1,000 equals negative 16t squared plus, what's my initial velocity? 315 feet per second, so 315t. What's my initial height? 0, right? We're starting on the ground. Right? The rocket starts on the ground. So do I have to put plus 0? I don't have to, but if you want to, you can. Now to solve for t, what's the big thing that I need? It needs to be what? I heard someone say it. Equal to 0. So, before I can do anything, I need to subtract 1,000. Zero equals negative 16t squared plus 315t minus 1,000. Now, if you're a wizard and you can factor that, go ahead and try. But it's not going to factor to anything very nice. I promise you that. So we're going to need to use quadratic formula here. A equals negative 16. B equals 315. C equals negative 1,000. So, come on. Negative B, negative 315. Plus or minus the square root. 315 squared minus 4ac. 4 times negative 16 times negative 1,000. All over 2a. All over 2 times negative 16. So, punch in your calculator. Negative 315 plus or minus the square root. Should get 35,225 over negative 32. Did we all get to that point? All I did to get here is I typed in that b squared minus 4ac. So then to solve, we're going to split it apart. Right? Negative 315 plus the square root, 35,225 over negative 32. Negative 315 minus the square root, 35,225 over negative 32. Right? Punch in your calculator, right? This doesn't come out to a nice number. So we're going to estimate, we're going to round to the nearest hundredths place. Get in the habit of that, hundredths. Did anyone get an answer for either part? We're still working on it. Or we just don't want to say. Or all's going to not make eye contact with me so I don't call on you. Page G. What did you get for the first one?
The
plus the square root.
3.98.
3.98. Okay. Page P. What did you get for the second one where we subtract the square root?
15.71.
15.71. Okay. Perfect. Thank you, ladies. So, I know after 3.98 seconds, it's going to go into the cloud cover. It's going to be out of sight. Then, at 15.71 seconds, it's going to come back down out of the cloud cover and be back in sight. So how do I figure out how long it was out of sight? Subtract them, right? Take the difference. 15.71 minus 3.98. How long was it out of sight for? Q, what'd you get?
I was still doing
You're still doing calculations, alright.
calculations.
You said you were still doing calculations? Alright. Colton, what'd you get?
11.7.
11.73 seconds. Sweet. So, what I would do when I'm answering a word problems, I'd probably write out a sentence. So like I'd write out, the rocket was out of sight for 11.73 seconds. Or at least make sure you have that label there. Say out of sight for 11.73 seconds. Something. Something to that effect. Okay? Yes? See? We? Alright. Any questions? Okay. Try another one. Oh. This one's for you guys to try, I guess. You guys try that one. Talking about a carnival game. I love carnival games. So much fun. Right? So, one of the games at carnival involves trying to ring a bell with a ball by hitting a lever that propels the ball into the air. The height of the ball is modeled by the equation h of t equals negative 16t squared plus 39t. If the bell is 25 feet above the ground, will it be hit by the ball? Now before you start, I want to make sure we're starting in the right direction, doing it correctly. I want to know the height of the ball. So I want to know how high that ball can go, is known as a maximum height. So what should I be trying to find from this equation?
Vertex.
The vertex. More specifically, which value at the vertex? The y value at the vertex. Right? If I find the x value, it's going to tell me how long it took to get up there. I want to find the y value at the vertex to see what is the max height that ball is going to be able to go, and is it going to be able to hit it if it's 25 feet up there. So if the max height is below it, obviously it's not going to hit it. But if the max height is above it, then yeah, it could hit the bell. So take your function, find your vertex, find your y value. Thanks. That's on yesterday.
finding vertex.
Okay, what are you finding? Okay, so you're finding X value, so it's like how long, and you're trying to find that.
And
Then you
then
would do this, but you wouldn't plug it in.
exactly. So then to find the height, which is our y value, we take whatever we get here, and we plug it back into our equation. Okay?
So we plug this in, so if I get this, or I plug it in this, just like.
And for t, because remember you said this is how long it takes, you just told me that at the time. Right? And then, so if we plug that in for t, we should get our height. Okay?
So we use that.
This?
Yeah.
Plug it in. I got you.
What's its initial height? That's our equation. So is it gonna hit the ball?
No.
Yeah, I keep getting.
Do we need more time? Go with it.
It won't hit.
Alright, I'll show you the answer. Q, what'd you say?
It won't hit.
It won't hit it.
Ah.
Right? It comes out to 23.765675. That's my maximum height. So that's my maximum height. It has to get to 25. It's going to come short, right? It will not hit it. No. No. Yes, sir.
Is it okay if we round?
Yeah, that's fine. All right, any questions? Uno más. Uno más. Okay? And most of that problem's already set up for you. All right, last one. Bob's making a quilt. Why is that funny?
Why is Bob making a quilt?
My favorite blanket's a
Why
quilt.
couldn't it be pen?
I love quilts.
I.
What's wrong with a man making a quilt, Q?
That sounds a little crazy to me.
What?
Sounds a little crazy to me. Why
Are
couldn't
you stereotyping people now?
No.
Yeah.
He says it's true. Like,
Maybe some guys are really good at making quilts. I don't know.
I would just think like your grandma.
Maybe Bob.
So you are stereotyping people.
Pretty much.
You're not wrong. Though. My grandmother makes quilts. Yeah, you're right. All right, so Bob's making a quilt, 4 feet by 5 feet. Right, that's the red part in here. 4 feet by 5 feet. He has 10 square feet of fabric to create a border around the quilt. How wide should he make the border so he uses all the fabric? So the border needs to be the same width all the way around. That's why all of these are the same variable. They're all x because they have to be the same number to fit all the way around there. Now, we did a lot of the math for you, a lot of the thinking for you. Right? We said the area of the border is going to be the area of the whole thing minus the area of the quilt. Right? That makes sense. The area of this whole blue square, not rectangle, minus the area of the red rectangle. That gives us our border, right? Well, area of the red rectangle, 4 times 5. Area of the blue rectangle, 4 plus 2x times 5 plus 2x. So then all we did, we solved it out and got it equal to 0. We did all that math for you. Yay, thank you.
Thank you.
So all we have to do then is we need to solve for x to figure out how big or how wide our border is going to be. So all we got to do is solve for x now. We did all the hard math. Well, we can either do two things, right? Quadratic formula or
Quadratic formula.
factor. Two things. Which one do you guys want to do? What? You want to factor? Alright, let's factor it. If I do the box method, 4x squared, negative 10. 4 times negative 10 gives me negative 40. I need factors of negative 40. Negative 2 and 20. Well, you guys gave me the right ones right away. So you can do that. Right? The factors, so you have 4, negative 10, negative 4 and 10. Got to add to 18. Well, 20 and negative 2, so 20x, negative 2x, (2x), and what is 10? Yeah, 2x and 10, 4x and negative 2. That's not right. Something's not right here. What did we do? What did I mess up?
Because we have to factor the first equation, because you can take out 2 in the equation.
What did I mess up? This is embarrassing. We don't have to do that though. Negative 40. How doesn't this work?
Just use quadratic. Yeah, 0.5.
It's 2x minus 5. Alright, I messed up the factoring. We're just going to use quadratic formula. That's why I don't do box method. Box method, dumb. No, we're just going to use quadratic. A equals 4. B equals 18. C equals negative 10. Negative b plus or minus the square root. B squared minus 4. AC. All over 2a. Negative 18 plus or minus the square root. What do you get under the radical there? Did anyone do quadratic formula?
Yeah.
What did you get under your radical?
324 minus by negative 160. Yes.
So plus 160
Yeah.
over 8. So negative 18 plus or minus the square root of 484 over 8. Right? We got that part? So square root of 484 is 22. Negative 18 plus or minus 22 over 8. Then split it up. Negative 18 plus 22 over 8 is 4 over 8, which is 1/2. Negative 18 minus 22 over 8. Negative 40 over 8, which is negative 5. One of these answers makes sense, one of them doesn't. Q?
0.5 makes sense.
0.5 makes sense. Why doesn't negative 5 make sense?
Because can't have a negative.
Can't have a negative distance, right? So it's 1/2 what? One half feet. Right? Yes, sir.
When you did the square, both of the top and bottom negative.
When I did the box method, you mean? Is that what I messed up?
It was negative 2x.
Well, it should have worked out either way.
Can I plug in my AirPods?
Yeah. I think it ended up being like 4x.
I got this.